Robin. There's
I know, I gotta get my glasses. I can't see nothing. Is that Bubba?
Yeah. I know, look how skinny they are. I know, I'll take a picture. Oh my gosh, maybe you can watch those. That was at the Green Mountain House.
I had that.
He'll talk your ear off. Oh, this is Sarah. That's a new one.
I remember when you had it real short.
Yeah, going through pictures, I found so many pictures of her and I when I was like, I don't know, maybe 3. Like we're both sitting on pillows, like just gossiping.
Yeah, go on. Wow.
Sarah. I mean, they're in Evelyn's. That's what Evelyn was at college. I can tell she's super thin.
Weren't we all? Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't go to college, honey. We've kind of claimed this one, so I guess we can sit at like these 2 tables. I'll probably chill. Oh, I might sit right there. Oh, yeah. Did you drive them?
I wrote them. They flew into Dallas.
Oh, okay. Back to the house, yeah. Chris brought a good house.
Oh, he did.
Oh, maybe I'll take him back to Dallas with you. How are you? In my order, right? Doctor through like compounding pharmacy, and he's really cut back on it. It's one of each. Exactly. So you gotta like at some point. Yeah, be like. And especially when you're like retired, it's so easy to just like I don't have anything to do. They have to be like light beers though, like tank tops, like sweaty tank tops.
Sister Lynn's.
Yeah. 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 Oh, good. How long is she? Oh, good. Hi. Remember this one? Holly. This is Chris Holly. My best friend Holly. Is this thing?
That's Christmas. Everything. You want to see the cakes? There's room to have your it's up to you. If you want to see Derek's.
We'll go ahead and get started, but before we do, if you would allow me to please offer all of you a disclaimer, if you will. And that disclaimer is this: I want you to know that I know there are few words that can do justice to such a profound loss. I want you to know that I know that, but I also want you to know that we will do everything we can do together, collectively, to make our time meaningful, to make it memorable, certainly a special time of remembrance. And I have prayed these last few days that it might be a time that promotes healing as well. Well, my name is Reverend Lonnie Smith, and it is a privilege, a joy to be with you this morning to help you remember, honor, and celebrate a precious soul. He was a precious soul that you remember as one who was patriotic, loved to tell a great story, loved music, good food, and loved to fish. My kind of guy. He was a precious soul that you remember as one who enjoyed bringing everyone together for cookouts and was, without question, a fully devoted fan of sci-fi shows and film. He was a precious soul that you'll always remember as one who was made in the very image of God, as we all are, by the way. And of course, I'm referring to your friend, perhaps your loved one, Jerry Curtis Goss. Jerry was 75 years of age. On behalf of his wife, Sandra, welcome and thank you all for being here this morning. And I love that we get to open our time together by listening to one of the great hymns of the faith, one of the great hymns of the church. You'll recognize this hymn. It's called Amazing Grace. I call Amazing Grace a hymn of hope. A hymn of hope. And when you hear the lyrics, I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I know we have a common hope in this room this morning, that Jerry, even at this very moment, sees more clearly than he ever did this side of eternity. So to honor the faith, let's enjoy this great hymn, Amazing Grace.
That
hymns, they never do really get old, do they? Especially when Bocelli is singing one. Well, most of us, if not all of us in this room, would recognize the name Billy Graham. Remember, Billy Graham passed at the age of 99, and toward the end of his life, he granted one last interview, the final interview. And in that interview, Dr. Graham was asked a particular question by the interviewer. The interviewer looked at Billy Graham and he asked, Dr. Graham, what is the one thing that has surprised you most about life? And without hesitation, Billy Graham looked at the interviewer and responded, the brevity of it. The brevity of it. And every time I watch that interview, in fact, I pulled it up, I watched it again this morning, I am reminded of 23 words from an Old Testament book. It's called Ecclesiastes. I have to tell you, they're not my most favorite words in Scripture, but they are sobering words, and they do set the table for why we have gathered in a chapel this morning in Georgetown, Texas. They're the first 23 words of the third chapter of that book. And they simply say this: for everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to pass, a time to step into eternity. So what the author is teaching us 3,000 years ago is that life is cyclical. He's letting us know that everything will come, eventually everything will go. But if you study that chapter carefully, the author is teaching so much more. He's teaching, number one, that the time we're given is a gift. Time is a gift. Secondly, he's teaching that life is a gift. Every life is a gift, and make no mistake about it this morning, Jerry Goss was a gift. He was a gift, and he was a treasure to each and every one of you for 75 years. We always want more. The Lord gave 75. And it's never easy. I know this from personal experience. It's never easy releasing or letting go of a gift in our life. That's not an easy process. So I'm going to click pause before I go any further and extend my condolences to all of you. I am so very sorry for your loss. And I have sat in these seats, front row, many times. And so it's not lip service for me when I say, I not only have been grieving for you, but I grieve with you as well. And I truly am sorry for your loss. And I'm always reminded in this moment of something that Queen Elizabeth once said. She said this: grief is the price we pay for love. Grief is the price we pay for love. In other words, we grieve because we choose to love. Grief, therefore, is an act of love. In fact, the very last act of love we have to give to a loved one that we've lost. And something else I've discovered on my own journey is this: anywhere there's deep grief, there's always great love. I know you love me greatly. I know that you'll miss him deeply. And one more time, I am so very sorry for your loss. And I would encourage all of you to wrap these words around your heart this morning. When we lose someone we love, we must learn not to live without them, but to live with the love and memories they leave behind. And I know Jerry left much love and many memories behind for each and every one of you. Well, I'd love to say the Lord's Prayer over our time together. Anytime I say the Lord's Prayer, I invite anyone who knows it, if you're comfortable saying the prayer, you're welcome to join me in the Lord's Prayer now. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Without question, when we pass, when we step into eternity, our souls are set free. And Jerry's soul has been set free. So to honor that reality, we're going to enjoy a song from one of Jerry's favorite movies. It's called Now We Are Free, from the Gladiator soundtrack. Let's enjoy this together. please ever, if you ask me. Well, I've had the privilege of doing what I'm doing right now over 30 years. I've officiated over 2,000 funeral services, and I have learned quite a few things along the way. This morning, I'd love to share two very specific things with you that I've learned. And the first is this: I've learned that every life is unique. Every life is unique. I'm a big fan of a neurologist and author. His name is Dr. Oliver Sacks. Dr. Sacks used to intentionally cultivate relationships with his patients because he was genuinely interested in what was going on in their lives. When he would lose a patient, he was deeply troubled by the loss, and his way of dealing with the loss was writing. Writing was his therapy, and as a result, Dr. Sacks left many treasures for us, and I'd love to share one with you now. He wrote these words: "There will be no one like us when we are gone, but then there's no one like anyone else ever. When people pass, they cannot be replaced. They leave holes that cannot be filled." It's so true, isn't it? In other words, what Dr. Sacks was saying was this: there was only one son like Jerry. There was only one brother like Jerry. Only one husband like Jerry. There was only one dad like Jerry. Only one granddad like Jerry. There was only one friend like Jerry. And I suppose we could say there was only one who enjoyed fishing on Lake Travis like Jerry. How unique was he? He was so unique that there will never be another. He was one of a kind, an exclusive edition. And I'll say it again: he was a gift, and he was a treasure. Every life is unique. The second thing I've learned is this: every life will tell a story. Every life will tell a story. I love storytelling. I hope you do as well. Let's go back to 1949. Harry S. Truman was president of the good old US of A in 49, and right here in Austin, Texas, on December 1st, a young couple, I presume, Edith and Curtis, introduced to this world for the very first time a little bundle of joy. If you've ever held a newborn, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a baby boy, a little baby boy, and they called him Jerry Curtis. Jerry Curtis, December 1st, 1949. October 14th, 2025, 75 years of age, Jerry Goss's soul was set free, and he began a new adventure in the heavenly places. He was a resident of Georgetown, born and raised in Austin. Jerry spent his entire life in the community he loved. A proud graduate of Reagan High School, Jerry went on to serve his country in the U.S. Army, completing basic training at Fort Bliss and El Paso, and later stationed in Germany. He was honorably discharged and returned home to continue his education, earning a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Texas at Austin. Of course, we'll recognize and celebrate his service to our country a little bit later in Killeen. Jerry dedicated his career to public service as a manager of OIG Data Mining for the Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, a role he found deeply meaningful. Outside of his work, he embraced life with curiosity, humor, and heart. He was an avid bass fisherman on Lake Travis, a devoted fan of science fiction shows and films, and a passionate reader of mysteries. He loved music, good food, and the company of friends and family, often hosting lively cookouts that brought everyone together. In 1996, Jerry married the love of his life, Sandra Gomez. You two were married in Austin, July 20th, 1996. And then you had a Mexican wedding, September 28th, 1996. You two covered all the bases, didn't you? If my arithmetic is correct, that's about 29 years of marriage. So God bless you. And thank you for your faithfulness in marriage. That is a testimony to everybody here. Together they made homes in Spicewood, Lakeway, Butte, Round Rock, and Georgetown, always sharing their lives with beloved dogs who were part of the family. Jerry will be remembered for his warmth, his wit, and his generous spirit. He is survived by his devoted wife, Sandra, his daughters, Elizabeth and Evelyn, his grandson, Felix, and his sister, Robin. Jerry's life was full of love, laughter, and purpose. He will be dearly missed by all who knew him. I love this. In lieu of flowers, the family asks that donations be made to the Wounded Warriors Project. cause that's close to Jerry's heart, and I'm glad it was. Well, I didn't know Jerry. Perhaps our spirits will cross paths out there one day, but you all did know him. That's why you're here. You knew him, you loved him. One of the ways we most honor those who go before us is we share maybe a thought or two, a story or two, and I'll invite some of you to take advantage of that opportunity in a few moments. But to get that process started, I'd like to invite his wife, Sandra, to come forward.
Please forgive me, I'm gonna wait, but these days I forget everything. So. Well, I met Jerry in 1995. He was handsome, smart, fun. We fell in love and got married 7 months later. Jerry was a great cook, and this Mexican wife didn't know how to cook. He taught me and shared delicious recipes that I still cook today. He was a very hardworking man. He loved what he did, and he was proud of the impact he had in this country. He was a gringo, a real gringo. Jerry had great conversations, and I could spend hours with him even after many years of being together. Jerry made me laugh a lot. We played a lot, we sang and danced a lot. We were happy together. We became a great team and did a lot of things together, but we were also partners in crime when we wanted to be loving. He was very protective of me, and I loved being under his wings. He took coffee to my bed every day during 24 years. But we were not perfect. We laughed a lot, we fought a lot, and we competed a lot with each other. But I still loved him and admired him very, very much. His family was cruel. They tried to interfere with our plans, advising him not to have kids with me. That if I wanted kids, that was not his problem. But Jerry, knowing how much I wanted to be a mom, held my hand and went through a long journey of fertility treatments here in America and in Mexico. And when that was not successful, he held my hand again, and we went through another long journey trying to adopt. But his age was a limitation, so we finally gave up. Gave up on kids, but became parents of 7 dogs. His family continued referring to him as a drunk, even asking me to leave him, and saying many other nasty things. At the end, they didn't hurt me as much as they hurt him, because Jerry loved me, and they never realized how that broke his heart. I never understood their anger, and that was kind of weird, because I have only seen that situations in Mexican novellas. But just like in Mexican novellas, love always wins. We were together for 29 years. The last 7 years, Jerry felt in a crisis where alcohol took over his life. He was drunk before, but not like this. Accident after accident. Even during COVID, Jerry was hospitalized several times. This old wife had to learn a lot of things and take care of the house, but especially to take care of him. Due to alcoholism, his brain was damaged, he couldn't walk, and he started losing his memory. But in his heart was still the Jerry I met, the Jerry I fell in love with. It was difficult, it was very, very hard. But God gave me the strength and His love kept me going. Today I'm sad, but I'm also very proud to have been his wife and to have fulfilled my promise to our Lord to stay by his side no matter what. Jerry was and will always be the love of my life. He left me with the gift of 2 daughters, and Elizabeth and Evelyn, and Felix, a grandson that I love with all my heart. My Jerry is now free, and I'm sure he's happy where he is. Fly high, Jerry. We'll be together again one day. I love you, And just like you always said to me, I love you mucho, mucho. Grande, grande. I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Capalia from Baylor Scott & White. He went the last 7 years through this very difficult journey and helped me to open appointments for him. He tried to help in every way he could. He was a great doctor, and I really, really loved him. I appreciate all he did for him. I want to also express my gratitude to my sister Alma and her husband Marvin. They would always keep an eye on us. They brought us dinner, sometimes came to visit, try to make sure we were fine. And even Marvin helped Jerry to get in the shower sometimes. I also want to express my gratitude to Jesse and Joe Tijerina. They were my neighbors and they became my family. And they were there through all these terrible times. They always given me strength and always given me their support and all their love. And I thank you very much for that. And last, I want to thank my company, Fitcho. I started working for Fitcho 7 years ago, and exactly when Jerry started going through this crisis. They were kind enough to let me work from home so I could take care of Jerry. They did everything they could to support me every time Jerry was sick, was hospitalized. They were always there for me. And I couldn't have a job right now if I wouldn't, because they helped me. Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here.
Sandra, that was very courageous. What a beautiful tribute to your husband. Just beautiful. Thank you. Well, I know it can be hard to do on the spot, especially on a day like today, but I do want to open the mic for anyone else.
I'm Evelyn. I'm Jerry's daughter, one of two daughters. I think I pretty much know everybody here, but I'm going to read you a passage from the script of one of my favorite shows that I'm not sure that Dad ever watched, but I think some of you may recognize this. I've always just loved this visualization. Sometimes I close my eyes and picture it, so. Since becoming a parent myself, it's more meaningful to me. And then since losing God 3 weeks ago, I just find that it's on my mind more than ever. So I wanted to share it with you all. So may I share something with you? A vision I had in my sleep last night. As distinguished from a dream, which is a mere sorting and cataloging of the day's events by the subconscious. This was a vision. Fresh and clear as a mountain stream, the mind revealing itself to itself. In my vision, I was on the veranda of a vast estate, a palazzo of some fantastic proportion. There seemed to emanate from it a light from within, this gleaming, radiant marble. I had known this place. I had in fact been born and raised there. This was my first return, a reunion with the deepest wellsprings of my being. Wandering about, I noticed happily that the house had been immaculately maintained. There had been added a number of additional rooms, but in a way that blended so seamlessly with the original construction, one would never detect any difference. Returning to the house's grand foyer, There came a knock at the door. My son was standing there. He was happy and carefree, clearly living a life of deep harmony and joy. We embraced, a warm and loving embrace, nothing withheld. We were, in this moment, one. My vision ended, and I awoke with a tremendous feeling of optimism and confidence in you and your future. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share it with you. I wish you nothing but the very best in all things. See you later at home. And thank you all for coming to honor Jerry.
Thank you, Evelyn. I told Evelyn a little bit earlier, my dad's name was Jerry. It's a great name. Anyone else is welcome. Yes, yes, please.
Before I begin, I want to thank you all for being here. Jerry was a very important man in my life, and he gave me his name at birth, and that is something that I cherish deeply. It means a lot to me that he touched the lives of so many and that he was able to give back as much as he gave to his country, to his family, and those closest to him. That is all.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Marvin, I've known Jerry for 25 years. Of course, when I met my wife, Ellen, and we met Jerry at Senator. I always found Jerry to be a very generous person, you know, kind and caring. And there was an instance I remember when I was applying for security clearance. And I don't know if you know anything about that, but they require you to find someone you've known for 10 years who will vouch for you that is not a relative, that is someone you are not related to. And, you know, Jerry's my sister-in-law's husband, and so I asked him, would you do that for me? And he said, oh, sure, I would love to do that. And that, to me, just kind of embodies his generous spirit and how he's willing to help a friend, or in this case, his sister-in-law's husband. You know, he loved talking about mysteries and sci-fi, as everyone has already said, and we would always talk about that when I went to Hollywood. And I'm going to miss him, and I'm grateful for having known him.
Hi everyone. I'm using Epihirina. I met Jerry 7 years ago when I was pregnant with my son. And I met Sandra and Jerry. They were my neighbors. And they quickly began to become a family to us. Jerry was a really funny man. Every time I would go over, check in on them, have dinner with them, or have them over, he would tell us stories about his job, all the crazy stories he had to deal with. But some of them were very interesting. Sometimes we would go over and his favorite thing was to watch sci-fi movies. Sometimes I would sit there and say, wow, Jerry, this is pretty interesting. I've never seen this movie. He would tell us all about it and how much he loved sci-fi. My kids love Jerry. Alex, Levi, Sebastian, They loved him so much, and he cared for them too. He was always checking in on us as well. We'll miss him, and he's very dear to us. Sandra, we love you guys, and we will forever keep those wonderful memories in our heart. So, thank you.
There's a wonderful tributes. Thank you all for sharing. Anyone else? Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Morgan, and I met Jerry a couple times over the last 10 years. 10 years ago, I was lucky enough for Evelyn to move across the street from me. And we immediately, I consider her, and by default, her family, my family. The way my life took me was I began a career in elder care. And Evelyn reached out to me a couple months ago and said, my family needs you. And I said, I'll be there. I am beyond blessed and honored to have been able to spend the last couple of months with Jerry and Sandra. Not only is Evelyn and Keepin and Felix my family, but I also gained Jerry and Sandra as my family and my friend. Jerry was quite a little bit of a handful on days, but absolutely brought a joy to my life that I will never forget. We all joke about his love of the sci-fi movies, and we had coffee together every morning, and we watched movies together, and we generally had a really great time when he wasn't trying to accidentally kill me on a semi-regular basis. We had a really great time together, and I think about him every day. And truly, I feel blessed that Evelyn has shared her immediate and extended family with me. And, and Miss Sandra, the fact that I've gained not only yet another amazing, beautiful friend in my life, and I'm so honored to have met you, and I thank you for making me part of your family as well. I will miss Jerry dearly, but in missing Jerry, I've also gained you. So thank you everybody for being here to honor and pay respects today. Thank you.
Perhaps this old world could use a few more cherries. A few more cherries. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Axel. I'm actually one of Jerry's nephews. I met my uncle a long time ago. I must have been 6, 7 years old. I'm 33 now. And I remember meeting him. I was in a lot of awe. He seemed, in spite of all the wit and the humor, he was actually very learned, a very steady man. And I always found it very fascinating. He had a lot to share. He did share a lot of that with me when I was young. My family and I, we spent a lot of time with him. Actually, a lot of family get-togethers growing up. And every time we go over there, I always get excited because he always had something to share, something to show me. And actually, to this day, I think the love I have for science and the natural world, the cosmos, actually was from him. He actually bestowed that on to me. He showed and shared a lot of that with me, and I always thought that something I'm very grateful for, something that I thank him a lot for. And I do regret that, as I got a little bit older and my life took off, my career, the little family, that there was some absence there, and I can only hope that maybe someday I can make up some of that time at some point. And I'm just very grateful to have the time that I spent with them, that I was able
back to the world of lives. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Anyone else? Well, death separates us from our loved ones, but they live on, don't they? They live on in our hearts, they live on in our minds, and they live on in our memories. Jerry was a man who not only lived a legacy, he was a man who leaves a legacy. You all are his legacy, and his legacy will shine brightly in the future, and through each and every one of you as you tell those Jerry stories from generation to generation. Well, I'd like to take a moment of silence to honor his life, to honor his legacy, really a quiet moment of reflection, to give you the opportunity where you're seated to consider precious memories that you have with Jerry. So we'll do that to honor him, and then I'll be right back. Thank you. Well, I grew up on Monty Python, and I love honest songs. I love songs. I love writers of songs who are not afraid to ask the tough questions. We all have questions, and that's what this next song is about. It's from another one of Jerry's favorite movies, The Meaning of Life. Monty Python.
While we hear what's life all about, it's got really weird, or is there some doubt? Well, tonight we're going to something about tonight, it's the meaning of life. What's the point of all these hopes? Is it the chicken and the egg time? Are we just perhaps we just one of God's little jokes. What's so sad the meaning of life? Is life just a game where we make up the rules while we're searching for something to say? Or are we just simply spiraling course of self-replicating what is our fate? Is there heaven ahead? Do we reincarnate? Is mankind evolving? Or is it too late? What's on that is the meaning of life. For millions, this life is a cycle of tears, sitting around with nothing to say. All the scientists say we're just simply spiraling currents of self-replicating DNA. So why are we here? Just what do we fear? Well, it's just time for a change. It's what all we want for this is the meaning of life. This is the meaning of life.
So great. Lots of memories right there. Right? Yeah. Well, I don't normally give a memorial service message a title. I never do that. But if I had to do it today, I would have a 6-word title. The first 3 words I would borrow from 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. It says this: God is love. Say whatever you want about God, but make no mistake about it. God is love. The other good 3 words, because God is love, would be God loves Jerry. God is love. God loves Jerry. In fact, if you could put your head on the heart of God, you would hear God's heartbeat of love for all humanity, for all people. That's what you would hear. As a minister for over 30 years, and even in different countries, different cultures, different belief systems, the one question that I get the most is this question: Reverend, what are your thoughts on the afterlife? You know, as a minister, you're going to get asked that question. And when I respond to that question, I try to keep it as simple as possible. As simple as possible. And generally, I respond to that question this way: we live in a world of imperfection. That's not up for debate. That's not up for argument. We all know we live in a world of imperfection. God is love. God loves Jerry. And so I have a great hope. I have a great hope for me. I have a great hope for all of you. I certainly have a great hope for Jerry. And that hope is this: when we step into eternity, at least 5 realities exist. We leave this world of imperfection, we immediately know a perfect peace. In other words, no more anxiety, no more concerns, no more worry. Perfect peace. My other great hope is that we leave the world of imperfection and we are immediately perfectly restored. Whatever that looks like in the spiritual realm. To restore something means to make it new again. So, in other words, Jerry has been made new. No more physical struggles. No more emotional struggles. Perhaps spiritual struggles. All have gone away. Perfect restoration. Thirdly, I have a great hope that we will know a perfect comfort. No more tears. No more depression. No more despair. A perfect comfort that's only known on the other side. Fourthly, my great hope is that we will be in a new, perfect dwelling place where death never touches us again. Some call it paradise. Some call it heaven. Some call it nirvana. Some call it celestial kingdom. Some call it house of the Lord. Some call it kingdom of God. Know this, it is a real place. Pick your terminology. My great hope is that Jerry now resides in a perfect new dwelling place where, fifthly, we enter into a perfect rest. A perfect rest. And who doesn't need rest for the soul? You see, on the other side, God is not making things better. God is not improving things. God is not enhancing things. God is perfecting things. All things are perfected. And of course, we all have our own ideas, our own roadmaps of how all of that plays out. And I suppose that's probably another sermon for another time. Well, this is called a service program. And this is where, in every memorial service, I strip their credentials. So whatever you call folk like me, reverend, clergy, pastor, minister, perhaps worse, let's just do away with it. Okay? Strip their credentials. Because what days like today have taught me over the years is that we are all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all friends. And we all need each other. That's what today is about. Today reminds us that we need each other for support. We need each other for encouragement. And I'm always reminded in this moment of the very last commandment Christ ever gave his disciples. It's my favorite word in the English language. Here's what he left them with. Love. It's not so hard, is it? That's what he said. Love. Love. I'm out of here. Love one another. And this family needs your love. You know that. That's why you're here. I keep every single one of these. I have over 2,000. And I keep them for a number of reasons. But Jerry, he goes in my October file. And every October, I'll pull it out. And I'll review that. And there's the sci-fi guy. There is Jerry. There's the guy with those 2 kids, that grandson, that wife of 29 years. And then I get to be reminded of who I hope I get to meet one day. I hope really that my spirit crosses paths with him. First thing he'll do is hug his neck. Then my question is going to be this. Is there a lake up here like Lake Travis where we can do some bass fishing? Because if there is, I know you know about it. Let's go do some fishing. And the last thing I do is get to know the life of your loved one. I ask one last question. What would he say? Given a few seconds. Now, we can all speculate, but I parked my car about an hour ago, and before I got out, I asked the question, what would Jerry say today? I walked in the funeral home. I think the light came on. I think this guy would borrow words from that incredible actor, incredible writer. He was a theologian, Winnie the Pooh, who said, how lucky am I to have had something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Jerry, he was a man who lived a legacy. He was a man who leaves a legacy. And his life will have a ripple effect. You heard it in every testimony. He was a gift, and he was a treasure. So family and friends, the Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. And that is my earnest prayer for all of you on days like today, that you might be enveloped in the surpassing peace of God. Well, we will go to the Central Texas Veterans Cemetery in Killeen. I think you have time for a bathroom break. That's probably good news for some of you. But I think our start time out there is 1 o'clock, and if you have not been there, they are very prompt. So we have to be there on time, and we will go in procession, by the way. So the funeral directors will kind of take over at this point, but that does dismiss our time in the chapel. I look forward to being with you all in Killeen. God's peace to you all.